Recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Whitesides, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to call for the immediate reestablishment of funding for PEPFAR and our public health support for poor countries. I do so with a heavy heart, holding in my hand 3 documents that every member of this body should read. One is a legal brief filed just days ago by Physicians for Human Rights. Another is a devastating new investigation released by ProPublica. And the third is a status report on PEPFAR from the Kaiser Family Foundation. Taken together, these documents paint a picture of moral abdication that should keep every single one of us awake at night. I want to talk about the data in these reports, Mr. Speaker, but first I need to speak from a place that goes beyond policy. I need to speak with you as a Christian. Scripture teaches us that our responsibilities to one another are not limited by borders. In the Gospel of Luke, we're told, "From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded, and from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked." The United States has been entrusted with much. We are the wealthiest, most powerful nation on earth. With that blessing comes a profound responsibility to the least of these. But today we are failing that responsibility in a profoundly immoral way. The legal brief I hold warns that the dismantling of our public health support for poor countries is causing irreversible losses. It estimates that the shutdown of USAID assistance has already cost 600,000 people to die, 2/3 of them children. The numbers can be numbing, Mr. Speaker, so let me tell you about the people behind these numbers, as detailed in this new ProPublica investigation. While political appointees in Washington were literally celebrating these budget cuts with a sheet cake in a conference room, a 38-year-old man named Tor Top was in a canoe in South Sudan. He was paddling desperately, trying to get his sick mother to a hospital 8 hours away. Why was he in that canoe? Because the local clinic, funded by U.S. humanitarian aid and run by Christian missionaries, had been forced to close its doors. The IV bags needed to treat cholera cost just 62 cents. 62 cents! But because we cut that funding, his mother died in that canoe halfway to help. ProPublica tells us about Rebecca Nyaraka, a 28-year-old mother living in a refugee camp. Cuts to these vital programs had stopped the sanitation services that kept the camp clean. Overflowing latrines spread disease. Rebecca died of cholera just days after giving birth to a son she named God is With Us. And it's not just cholera. Look at this KFF report on PEPFAR. PEPFAR is not a partisan project. It was created by President George W. Bush in 2003. It's perhaps the single greatest humanitarian achievement in modern history, credited with saving 26 million lives. But the report shows that the current administration's stop work order has frozen payments and services. They've canceled 86% of all awards for this assistance. The result, we're losing thousands of HIV health workers in Kenya, Malawi, and South Africa. The KFF report warns that ending this funding could result in 565,000 new HIV infections over the next 10 years in sub-Saharan Africa alone. We are undoing decades of progress. We are actively allowing a plague to return. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, doctors are reporting that without U.S. aid, they cannot even release Mpox vaccines that are currently locked in storage rooms. In Uganda, babies are being born HIV positive again after years of near elimination of mother-to-child transmission. Some might ask, is this our problem? To that I answer with the words of my faith. We are our brother's keeper. And to my colleagues who prefer a strategic argument, I say this: these diseases don't respect borders. The legal brief explicitly warns that infectious disease knows no borders. When we stop treating tuberculosis or cholera abroad, we allow outbreaks to grow until they threaten us here at home. Our American global health surveillance was the reason the 2004 Ebola outbreak was contained, with only 11 cases ever reaching U.S. soil. We are dismantling the very fire alarm system that protects our own house. Mr. Speaker, we're losing twice. We're losing our moral standing, and we are losing our physical security. Taxpayers will pay once for the dismantled programs, and then they will pay again, much more dearly, when these preventable crises reach our shores. We cannot be the nation that celebrates savings with cake while mothers die in canoes for lack of a 62-cent IV bag. I urge this body to reverse course. We must reestablish funding for PEPFAR. We must restore our life-saving public health support for poor countries. Let us do it because it is the smart thing to do for our safety. But more importantly, let us do it because it is the right thing to do. Let us not be the generation that walked away when we had the power to save millions of lives. I yield back.